Yuppy Puppies Forever, next on City Corner. Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson and welcome to City Corner. Today, I'm joined by Jessica Cook. She is a successful St. Louis area business owner and pet advocate. Now, she saw a heartbreaking need, pets who were left behind when their owners passed away. And so from there, she started a nonprofit called Yuppy Puppies Forever. And today we're gonna learn all about their work and their mission and basically the journey that they're on to help address this growing need in the St. Louis area. Jessica, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I love that when I was setting this up that I've been told multiple times that you're sort of the Dr. Dolittle of the area and just a true pet advocate, and your heart is really there. And I when I heard your story and how you started this, it's really amazing. And I just wanted to kind of start things off with, what is this mission that you're on with Yuppy Puppies Forever?
There's such a need here in our area, and working in the pet industry for the last 25 years and kind of being that advocate and rescuing, we just kind of together started figuring out how we can make a greater impact, become a nonprofit, and help so many more in need. And our main focus is dogs who are orphaned due to deceased or terminally ill owners. And by starting that, realizing how great that need is and the difference we're able to make.
So what was that moment that actually, was there a specific something that happened or incident that happened that you thought, because you're running a successful pet spa, you've got your business going, and you said for many, many years.
Yeah.
So when was that moment that you thought something happened that I have to turn this into a nonprofit?
So my husband's aunt passed away, and she was this frail little woman and loved this 180-pound bull mastiff named Simi. And he was actually at her funeral, and her family's like, we don't know what we're going to do with the dog. We've been coming over and feeding it. We don't want it. We can't have it. He doesn't get along with our other dog. There was such a need. My husband actually was telling me the story, and I was like, we're going to get that dog right now. That was her dog. We know how much she loved him, and it would be an honor to continue giving Simi a wonderful home. And it took him a long time to adjust. So that was one of the first times I really seen how just the different sights, sounds. He went from living in a home with a single elderly lady in a quiet environment to 3 kids, crazy sports teams coming over, all these things. And it took him a while to adjust. And then that started happening for our clients. The owners were passing away, and family members would approach us and say, this is the only place Bella ever got groomed or boarded. I know she's comfortable here. Can you keep her till we find her home? And then it became so many. It was 40 in 1 year that this was happening to. We were kind of the name for owners had passed away. And so that really elevated it. And we became a nonprofit in 2020.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, I mean, really, beside your personal story, thank you for sharing that.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sorry for your loss. And then you're saying through your business side, just more and more people are making that connection.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the hardest part about caring for pets when their owners have passed away?
I say we try to get a backstory, if we can, of all different varieties. Was it an elderly person's home? Was it a home with children? Wherever that home they came from, we try to make it as similar as possible and place them in a home with those needs as well. But really letting them have the time to decompress. Our dogs don't run out of time, so sometimes it's just sitting in there with them quietly for days until they start to slowly make a little bit of, we see a tail wag, we see them wanting some snacks and some interest, and those ones, it takes a little bit while for them to adjust, but it is so rewarding to see them thrive then once in a home.
I was going to ask you about that because I was reading into just sort of the statistics about this, and And I mean, I think at one point they were saying nationally about one, and you would know better than this, but I had pulled it up online. It was saying about 1 in 10 pet surrenders happen because an owner has passed away or can no longer care for them. And then the numbers is rising, as you sort of pointed out. So when you talk about the emotional side of it for dogs, they're going through grief and anxiety. How does that exhibit themselves? How is that different from maybe a pet where somebody got it a year ago? They, adopted a pet, their life got busy with work or something, and they're like, this isn't working. But then a dog that's actually witnessed death of its owner.
They're all, if a dog's entering a shelter, their whole life is turned upside down for no matter what reason, whether they were an inconvenience and needed. We're seeing the rise of owners, just it's not a new thing anymore, and they're turning them into the shelter hoping that they get another chance. And there's so many dogs just from strays or owners passing away. So we approach each one differently. Some dogs are so resilient that we know if they came from a horrible situation and it's like nothing ever happened, and that just goes to show how wonderful dogs can be with forgiveness and all these things. And then we see some dogs that lived a happy life in a great home, but it's changing. So they're also too just as upset to get placed in a home or a transition. So we just take each dog individually, one by one.
And so talk about that. So you have 2 locations for your for-profit business, for the pet spa, right? And then when a pet is turned over to you from this situation, or maybe many others, you've grown, I believe you said you've grown sort of like your intake. It's not just now if a pet owner has passed away, is that correct?
Yes.
So talk us through the steps of what do you and your team do? I mean, 'cause sometimes this is probably a quick turnover, other times it's months and months.
Yeah, and we have 2 that have been with us for over a year.
Really?
And there's so many dogs that need homes that it's just easy for them to get overlooked, even though they would do a great in a variety of homes. So we work really closely with a lot of the local government shelters that are the intake. They have to take all the dogs off the street. They have to take all the dogs we really try to help them because they have a tough job. When they are full and they're making tough decisions, they're doing their best networking and trying to get dogs out. So they will call us and say, hey, we have this 6-month-old puppy where the owner surrendered him because he was chewing on everything. We think he just needs some training and some manners, and he's just a puppy. And so we have a wonderful staff of trainers, and that's what they do. So from day one, they just start speaking the language of the dog, and the dog just was never clear with boundaries, and they might have had a million toys in a yard to run in, but they weren't taught leash manners or how to properly not chew on things or say no. So it's amazing then that same dog that was going crazy in a shelter is now greeting people as the best dog ever. And it's like there was a lot of hard work to go behind that, but that's our goal, is to have people come in and adopt dogs and say, I adopted the best rescue dog. So then that mindset just continues.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work too, because you're saying too that you're trying to, when we were talking off camera, you're saying you're trying to pair some of the pets with very similar style families, and just, I mean, that's a lot to go that goes into it. I mean, but you and your team, you've kind of come up with the formula now over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always say it's so fun when people come in, when they've made their mind up, they are ready to adopt a dog. And we have all our dogs listed, but we ask them a few questions first. They might have one in mind, let's just say a husky we have, but maybe they've never owned a dog, or they they live in an apartment, or when they work a lot, they want to watch movies. So we'll say, well, let's let you meet this dog. And then if they understand kind of the needs of this dog, but by listening and having you fill out what your ideal lifestyle is, we actually think this dog or this dog might be a better match. Can we introduce you to them? And so by kind of having people just open up their heart to different options. Maybe that dog that they were going to adopt doesn't look like what they thought, but the personality matches exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What do you think this has all taught you about people's sort of relationship with their pets? I mean, you probably know more so than anyone. That's really a whole other topic.
Yeah,
like,
I could write a book on that.
You could write a book on it. But I mean, you have sort of expanded, right? Because when on the business side, you're running a successful business.
Yeah.
People are coming in, getting the pet grooming, and you have that aspect down. And then now you're dealing in a nonprofit sector in an area that's pretty emotionally heavy. It has, for sure. There's some heaviness there. So what has that sort of taught you or opened your eyes to more, I think, over the years about how people, their relationships with their pets?
I do think the majority of people want to do right by their pets. And I've seen how we just kind of talked about where people come in and they have maybe something specific in mind that they're looking for. And then they actually do fall in love with the older gray-faced dog and open their heart up to one of those, or a special needs dog, or say, we say, hey, these two are in play groups together, they're best friends, and they say, we'll pack them up, we're going to take both of them together. So there's a dark side, like you said, of rescue and why we do it, but we tell our staff and all our workers, like, the dogs live for today. So we're not going to dwell on this dog had a terrible past, or it had, whatever the past may be. Let's move forward, and we kind of take that with the people and the adopters. Like, it's okay if we have an open house and nobody went home, because we want it to be the right fit at the right time.
Oh, that's really touching. No, I love that. I want to get in more too, just about about the work that you're doing. You have an upcoming fundraiser that we're going to get to. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I'm going to put up some information on the screen for you to check out. We are going to get into how you can adopt these amazing dogs. So that's the one thing. There's a gala coming up. We're going to talk about that in the second segment, but just put that down for November 8th. That's coming up. That's the annual Yuppy Puppies Forever Gala. And then information on how you can adopt, learn more about Yuppy Puppies Forever Pet Rescue. 2 locations, as we've talked about. Follow them on Facebook. There's the email, and really just head to the website that's right there on your screen, yuppypuppiespa.com/YP/rescues. But you can learn more about it. And on social media, you've got all the dogs that are up for adoption.
Absolutely, and then we utilize Pet Finder too. We constantly update the available dogs on Pet Finder.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. We're going to talk more about it, though, so stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Did you know that you can watch STL TV on your smart TV? That's right. With the new STL TV Now app, you can watch STL TV at home without a cable subscription. And that includes our live broadcast channel as well as video on demand content. We have apps for Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. You probably have at least one of those at home, right? But this one is a Fire TV. Now listen, it is really easy to get started. Just find the App Store on your TV, then search for STL TV Now. Select it and click to install. And in just a few seconds, you are enjoying STL TV's great programming such as City Corner, Inside Sports, City Government, and public interest coverage. Or, my personal favorite, In the Kitchen.
My advice to all the fathers out there, they grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. It made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
What I love about St. Louis is the 79 unique neighborhoods nestled into 108 city parks, including Forest Park, which is actually larger than Central Park in New York, and of course, the beautiful Tower Grove Park where I'm at now. Oh, the St. Louis Blues. We've got the St. Louis Surge, two-time WBCBL champions. We've got Harris Stowe, WashU, St. Louis University, and of course, the 11-time World Series champion, St. Louis Cardinals. So come experience St. Louis.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson and welcome back to City Corner. Today I'm joined by Jessica Cook. She is the founder of Yuppy, Puppies Forever Pet Rescue, and we're learning all about the mission of the organization and the work that they're doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, of course.
We were covering all in the first segment, talking about sort of the origin story of how the nonprofit developed. But I want to ask you and make sure we cover, because we have these great photos of all these beautiful dogs. How do people adopt? When do they go to your website? Do they call, or how does it work?
Definitely do Paw Partner. Go to the website. Our application's up there, and you can always email. Calling is not the best because it's connected to the business. So, but definitely send an email or a submitted application. And it's okay if you don't know who you're interested in. Our applications have a lot of questions on there about right fit. And then we set up a meet and greet, and that's kind of starts the process.
Got it. Because we were looking at these really great photos, and those are photos that that you have that are straight off your Facebook page. So you're posting pretty regularly too about new dogs that have come in.
Yes,
so
we try to do their whole story from the minute day one, and then through the grooming, training, while we're finding out what home is best suited for them, and then their happily ever go home photo.
No, it's great. You guys do a great job with it. I love the pink throne photos that we were looking at. So you have a lot going on, but you do make time to do, which is very important, a fundraiser for Yuppy Puppies Forever as a nonprofit. Yes. So tell us about the upcoming. It's the Yuppy Puppies Forever, the 4th annual Forever Gala. I mean, the fourth annual gala. It's the theme this year is Part of Your World. Yes. So tell me a bit more about this.
Yes. So we always play after our happily ever after, so we go with kind of a Disney theme. So this year it's they want to be part of your world.
Okay.
And we have this fundraiser is so important because we only have one fundraiser that we host a year, and all of our funds go towards vet care for the following year. So that really sets the budget on what dogs we can say yes to, because our dogs don't run out of time. So we need to make sure when we say yes to a dog, we have enough funds to vet out that dog, care for that dog for the remainder of the time that it takes to find a home. Vet care is at all-time high currently. So on average, it costs between like $500 and $700 to fully vet out, to spay, neuter, microchip, heartworm test, all the things, vaccination, chips, just to, because that's, that's our dogs, we feel like it's our responsibility. They're not going to make any more babies. They're going to be as set up for that future home. And oftentimes there's more. There's ear infections. There's other things, so increase that. So this fundraiser is so important to us. Monica Adams is going to MC. Friction Drive is the band. It's a wonderful sit-down dinner, open bar. Our dogs come during cocktail hours, so it's always fun to see what you're supporting that evening. And then we have tons of great silent and live auctions. And so this event is really important to us and just very much needed for the vet care for the dogs.
I'm sure, and we're looking at some pictures. I guess this was probably last year or past years, and you've got a silent auction, as you mentioned. along with it. But no, that's really important. Well, people can get more information. It looks like a great time.
It's a great time.
So nice.
Yeah, everybody loves it. It's fancy for dogs. Everyone has a great time.
I didn't realize that. So you bring the dogs who are up for adoption too. That's
So our
great.
volunteers, we're allowed to bring them outside during cocktail hour for the first hour, and it's so fun to see them mingle. And then, as then each one gets adopted through that year, we have photos of them at the gala, and then we always invite a few of our past rescues that were at the gala the last year back for the next year too,
that's nice.
with their owners.
Do people actually attending
Yeah.
end up adopting? Do they really?
They come and their dogs have little tuxedos on and all the things. They're ready to show off their rescue. So it's a great time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, we were going to make sure we have that information. Plug it again at the end of the show. What do you think? I mean, so I want to talk too, because when we talk about you being a pet advocate, if it's okay for me to share this, I have heard that you have like your own. You have a farm and you have rescues, not even just dogs, like all types of animals. I mean, talk about that. Is this kind of have you been this way always?
Always.
Since you were like a little girl?
Since I was little. We lived on a dead-end street, and my best friends were the animals outside, not just dogs. It was the squirrels and the rabbits and everything. I just connected more towards animals. I've always been that way, and helping anything I can and bringing home anything I can.
Really?
And so now I've roped my husband and my family into it too. So we've got a little bit of everything.
So even when you were like in high school and did you always know that you wanted to work?
Always.
Like, I want to be like either a vet or I want to work with the animals, or you always
I knew I wanted to do something with animals, and I started bathing dogs when I was 14 years old, and I haven't stopped since. So then they trained me to be a groomer, and then I was running the shops, and went to college and decided I was not going to be behind an office. So I always went back to the animals, and then that was kind of the birth of Yuppy Puppy in 2003.
So so you had that moment of, I'm going to just start my own business.
Yes.
But you had so much experience. I mean, my goodness, since you were like, an adolescent.
It's just been a way of life. Yeah. And I'm still always wanting, researching now even more, like on nutrition and pet massage and just everything. There's so much research on things coming out and stuff. It's just, you're endlessly learning on more, and then still now I use my platform on how much I can advocate for the rescues in need.
That's amazing. That's great. What do you think are the biggest challenge or difference from the business side to the nonprofit side of the work that you're doing? Because it's kind of
both are extremely hard work.
Yeah.
I feel like the hard work of the business, I was blessed enough to be able to start the nonprofit because the business, because it's so successful, allows me to the Yuppy Puppy pretty much funds the majority of the rescue for all the housing, the trainers, the staff. So our nonprofit just relies, we can solely spend our money on vet care, which is allowing me then to save more than if I needed donations to cover other things. So they just go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're looking here at a picture from a donation. I saw too, I think on your website, that you are always looking for donations, clearly, but also donated items.
Always, because you can never. We go through. Oh gosh, the girls were just saying it was like 82 cups of food a day this week is what we're feeding. So we're always needing food of any kind because we have puppies, we have seniors, canned food, snacks, toys, but then of course money for the vet care.
Okay. So so for food donations, you're open to that. Anything else like blankets, toys, anything on those areas?
Always use blankets and toys. Yeah, those are like revolving.
You're like, we'll accept anything. Yes. So people can, so they can head to your website or email.
And people can just drop off during business hours anytime. So
that's great. We'll talk about, I was looking at some of the photos of your team, because I know you're doing a lot of this, but you have, it sounds like a really amazing and supportive team. And I wanted you to tell me a bit more about just like your team and how you all work together.
Oh, the amazing team. So all of us at Yuppy Puppy Pet Spa, we, from day one, whether it's intaking the dog, the groomers play a huge role on first baths and sprucing up. The trainers are so dedicated, just providing. There's some dogs that, for instance, we have a little dog. Actually, that's Ernest up there on the screen. Oh. And he was a stray that we transferred from Care St. Louis. And he was just he's crazy. He's living life. Clearly, though, just needed some manners. Otherwise, you try to show him or adopt him out, and he's gonna clobber the potential owner with not in a good way, but that can get him in trouble. Maybe he ends up a stray again because he jumps a fence or he pulls too hard. So we went right to work on fun engagement. Training and manners is fun and making games out of it. And so we're proud of him. He's doing so well.
So you've got a good team. And training is not easy. I mean, that takes a lot of patience, a lot of skill.
A lot of skill. And then, I wouldn't say every person at Yuppy Puppy has some important role until go home day, and then we do a lot of follow up with our rescues too during that transition process. We want to make sure that if any questions arise or anything, or how we can assist, so we're there for them after the adoption process as well.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it does take a village it takes a village with pets, but I love hearing that. I mean, with the mission and the work that you're trying to do, and somebody listening to this today, what do you want sort of the public to know about this? Because I know when we were talking off camera, just should people start to plan ahead? I mean, not to go in this morbid area of plan ahead for your death, but like what area and what things do you think can help to better address sort of this area and this need?
I would say in our area, spay and neuter your pets, because you hear it for years all the time, but it makes a difference. If we're saving one, but now there's 14 to save, and then those have babies and those have the cycle for rescue can seem like you save one, but then here comes 20 more. So by spaying and neutering, and there's lots of great resources in St. Louis for low-cost spay neuter, and keeping your pet for a lifetime. We can't stress that enough. So rescue used to be, there's dogs on the street, there's strays, there's unwanted litters. And now we're seeing the crisis of my dog has become an inconvenient. I'm traveling. The kids aren't interested anymore. So add that to the already, the dogs that needed a home and crisis. And then there's the have a plan. Should an untimely death occurs, who's going to take your pet? Do they know that? Having a plan for once you're, where your dog is going to go.
Yeah. Well, I know. I appreciate you sharing that. It's something we don't, and what I love about this too is it's you're deep in this field, but it's something that we don't always think about, like what goes on behind the scenes, and the work that you're doing. It's really, changing the pets' lives, but other people's lives, especially for those, as you mentioned, where somebody passes away or a family member, knowing that they're going to go to a home. Yeah. Congratulations just on all your success for everything, both on the pet spa as well as with the nonprofit. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to talk about this, and we want to make sure you have the information at home. We're going to throw up the screen. We've got the gala coming up. That's the 4th annual Yuppy Puppies Forever Gala. Part of the World is the theme this year. If you want more information or to buy tickets, that information is there right on the screen. Head to the website. We've also got a way for you to reach out to Yuppy Puppies Forever Pet Rescue. Head to their website. A lot of information about the adoption process and on social media as well. Really beautiful photos of the dogs that are currently available to adopt. And Jessica, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, thank you. And thank you at home for watching, and keep it right here on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.